got some good food, new recipes again tonight. Had some carrots and potatoes. So we got 2 recipes featuring carrots. I tried to send in the live stream notifications that when you buy carrots, they can last about 1 to 2 weeks in your refrigerator. If they have tops, the little green carrot tops, go ahead and cut those off and store them in the fridge. The potatoes, you want to store those in a dry, cool place that is not the refrigerator, and you want to use those within the week. And I always seem to be using the potatoes closer to 2 weeks out, and I'll show you what I will use and what I will not use. Just going to make sure that the sound's coming in. Okay, it sounds all right. Get that little foot padding going there. And the first thing that we're going to do, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring up the chat. It's always good to see the folks that are dropping by. Eventually we'll get the dual stream set up, be both on YouTube and on Twitch, and I just want to get to oh, that's not what I want. Hello Amy and Bobby, it's really good to see you folks. Welcome to the top of the stream. A shout out to you guys, a merry late Christmas. I apologize that I said I would be on and I did not end up being on. The house was very busy that day. It was good to see you both again. I'm just trying to bring up the correct chat here, and I'll start throwing up the recipes. And let's see. Put it here in the bottom first. Now the spiced carrots is what we're going to start out on first because those take a little bit longer than the potatoes that we're going to get. I'm going to go ahead and throw up my ingredients back here real quick and make sure I still have the chat actually brought up. There we go. Wonderful. Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. I'm going to fix myself up a little coffee real quick. It's already there. And we'll get our ingredients out. We'll go through those potatoes and we'll kind of go through like what's gone too far. Like I said, use your potatoes within a week. These ones have started sprouting a little bit. So, and we'll get into like what you shouldn't use them for and then what it's still okay. Because they do actually go poisonous. Hello Supreme Gaming, hello, welcome to the stream. Just pulling out our ingredients real quick. Let me skinny myself up real quick and we'll get this larger for you. I believe it's this one. Yeah, if you thought I wasn't skinny enough already, check it out. Now, we got the recipe right over there. I'm just gonna real quick keep on pulling stuff out. Carrots. I was really happy about this carrots and potatoes recipe because it called for a little bit of parsley, and this is still turning right here, so we want to use it as much as we can. Parsley, fun fact, is no longer considered a garnish. It's actually considered a superfood. Great for you, and I'm pretty sure it's great for your teeth too, so if you're a coffee drinker, that'll definitely help. Alright, let's see. And then for the spiced carrots, I want that butter over there. Brown sugar's out. There we are. Gotta give a little old computer mechanic there on the fan. Just a little love tap. Alright, and the cinnamon, we're gonna use the good cinnamon today. Getting all your ingredients out at the start will help you from burning something when you're just starting out on cooking, and it's a good practice just to build up as you get better. And we're going to need a little bit of an onion. Oh, I'm immediately reminded of the irony of this recipe. Okay, so I cut this recipe down. I actually used 2.5 tablespoons of onion, but I thought it was really funny because we made tomato basil bisque a while back, and I was like, if you ever get a recipe that only calls for 2 tablespoons of onion, just trash it. And here I am, not 5 weeks later, being like, we're going to use 2 tablespoons of onions today. Oh, just hang me. It's just the way it worked out with the math. I'm sorry. So we're going to cut up just a small onion, and we're going to use the 2 tablespoons, and we're going to put the rest in the fridge to make it easy for another day. Let's see, what else do we need? We'll get the salt out. Yeah, I'm going to use the salt. And brown sugar, butter. Oh, and the raisins. I wonder if we're going to have any raisin lovers, raisin haters. We'll see. Got those out. Go ahead. One of these. So, okay, we are good to go. So, the next best practice is we're going to read the entire recipe. That way you don't miss anything funny. So, for these spiced carrots, so in covered medium saucepan over low heat, cook all ingredients except the brown sugar, the 1/2 cup of water. Alright, let's get 1/2 cup of water. Huh. I wonder if that's some sort of etiquette, just saying that you don't include the water in the recipe in the ingredients list. Just get 1/2 cup of water. Because I noticed I transferred this recipe from the Good Housekeeping cookbook, and I tried to word it exactly that way we can talk about how things are worded. Because last week we actually had a really kind of confusing recipe. It didn't help that I didn't write the recipe down on the slides correctly. So that only made it more confusing, but we got with it. It made mostly sense. It just didn't tell us what to do with the parsley, but that might have been my fault. So what I'm doing is when I put it on the level surface here, that is the easiest way to make sure I actually have a 1/2 cup. You might not actually, because the water is adjusting here, you might not actually see what you're looking at, the water moving. And over low heat for 13 minutes until carrots are fork tender. So we need to slice the pound of carrots. So I had a 2-pound bag. This is one from last week. So we know this is 1 pound because it's half the bag remaining. And it's a 2-pound bag. So we have those there. And let's see. So the spiced carrots take longer, so we'll get the spiced carrots ready, and then we'll just make sure when we're cutting up carrots, let's see, and then we'll need some diced carrots. We'll need 1 cup for diced carrots for the parsley, carrots, and potatoes. And yeah, okay. So let's go ahead and cut some carrots. Let's see, if I haven't said already, this is also another great time. If you're all ever in doubt whether or not you washed your hands, just wash them again. It's all under the fingernails. So I always try to think of like a not obvious kitchen utensil to have, and we've gone over things like brooms or cutting board was kind of a more obvious one, but the one this week is going to be nail clippers. That is another kitchen utensil that you'll want in the bathroom. Help keep your fingers nice and clean. That'll help the hand washing take maximum effort. Okay, getting the cutting board out here. And we're going to go ahead and get this bowl, and we'll be able to give our baby carrots a nice rinse. Some cold water going over there. And yeah, we'll be able to just dump the water. The stream goes on for about till 8 o'clock. I kind of like slowly do a recipe. Usually it's all coming together about 7 o'clock Mountain Time. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but usually I'm making the plating everything up by 8 o'clock. Sometimes though, 7:30 is how it's turned out, where I'm plating it up, and I sometimes eat and chill with people. We're catching all the extra bits that usually get cut out of the cooking show, like just the steps it takes, like just washing your carrots, getting them put over, getting them. We got to cut this pound right here into 1/4 inches. All right. We'll leave that open so we don't have to touch the garbage can anymore. I kind of cheated too using the plastic bag. Yeah, just explaining what I'm doing. All right, so we got the knife. And let's see, medium saucepan. We'll go ahead and get that out. I'm going to go ahead and use a ceramic because this is going to be a little sticky. We'll go ahead and start getting the low heat on there. We'll go ahead and add our water too. All right, and I'm going to work my carrots left to right over here. Let's get back in on the action here, and we'll lower this down a little bit. See the cutting. Okay, and then for this, so we use baby carrots. So you could use regular carrots. Just look to see what the poundage is on the bag. It's not in the bag. I can't help you anymore today. And so I'm just grabbing some, making a claw with my hand, making sure that I have my thumb tucked back, and I'm just going for 1/4 inches. You want to be a bit more even on these cuts. This will take a minute to get it all cut up. Sometimes this 1 by 1 could even be easier. Yeah, it'll probably be faster just to use not 4, just to go for 2. And then you do want to make sure that you don't skimp out. You do want all these 1/4 inches. If you want to make it extra pretty, you can kind of just lop off the little tops right here. Put that off to the side. And we're trying to save a little time because we have our pot coming up. We want it really low temp. So it's going to start with this little water. It will, on the 3, it will start boiling on you. So I'm going to just have it just underneath the 2 on the temperature there. And that should be nice and prepared. And then we'll turn up the heat when we're really when our attention's back onto it. Just make sure to use your ears, and that way you can hear what's going on, and you can use your eyes to look at this knife and keep all your fingers. 1/4" cuts is what we're going for on these carrots. You can use regular carrots or baby carrots. I think the baby carrots are kind of a more convenient option. And we've lost some. This is a great way to trick your dog. Your dog is getting a treat and it's like, what? What is this? A vegetable? What are you? Vegetarian? Impossible. Alright. Just a few more to go. We'll have a whole pound of carrots cut. Oh, thank you, Smookums. Yeah, I wear it in hopes of being an excellent baker one day. Because baking is definitely my weak spot. I practiced, how I started practicing baking is I just bought those pre-made cookies. I didn't even mess with the dough. I just started learning my oven. And I understand a bit better. And then I think, Smookums, maybe you saw me make the biscuits. I think you caught the end of, I think that was the first show that you saw, and I tried to end, so I learned a bit about baking biscuits. I still haven't been able to successfully make some, well, I haven't made the perfect biscuit yet. But I've only done it 3 times so far, so plenty more times to fail and to learn. The hardest part for me is, like, I'm not exactly sure what consistency I'm looking for when I'm putting the butter into it. Like it tells you don't let the butter melt in it, and it's supposed to be kind of clumpy. Yeah, that's why I kind of joke. It's like you can always say one thing or another, but I like to imagine that cooking is like an art, and I mean it, like you can just get away with more stuff, and baking is chemistry. It's science. It's nope. If it says a 1/4 cup, you need to use a 1/4 cup, or you'll be sad, or it don't work. You want bad reactions? This is how you get bad reactions. So a little bit of steam coming up on here. We'll go ahead and turn up the heat a little bit. Okay. And then we also are going to get our 3 teaspoons of cinnamon. 3/4 teaspoon of cinnamon. Oh, right. I already pulled this out. What? And I did say that I'd measure everything out for the chat, but do forgive me that I'm just going for 3, oh wait, please, tablespoon. Maybe I was saying, if I was saying teaspoon, please forgive me. I did mean 3/4 of a tablespoon of cinnamon. We'll go ahead and add that to our water. I just used a full tablespoon. I didn't fill it up quite all the way. There's something you might learn about me is that I despise these measuring spoons, but I gotta use them. I want to make sure that I can give you consistent results that you can repeat at home. I was really thinking about, let's see, let's keep on cooking before I get on the onion. Okay, so now with the onion, what I like to do is have a second cutting board. Now also, here's another little trick. You see how this cutting board is moving so easily right now? Well, I know I want to use this one because I know it's a little bit older, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it. Now the cutting board won't move, and it was a little big. You don't want it too thick. Like, I'm not going to fold it on top of itself again because it's just a little bit, it's not a little too much. And then also I'm going to make sure I don't have the cutting board off the edge because this is a hazard right here. So I'll make sure that handle, nice firm surface right here. And then with the onions, so you got the skin right here. your knife will kind of slip on that a little bit, so just kind of, oh shoot, it wasn't it. So the motion I did to get the first one off was like this, and then I'll go ahead and I'll cut off the top end here. So this is the root, and you'll go ahead and save that. And we're just going to go ahead, cut that, and then one sideways, or that. Another cut straight through the root like so. And then you can see how easy this is to peel. Now what I just did with the onion on the cutting board there, I could have done better. And what I mean by that is that this is still a dirtier part of the onion, and so is this root right here. So I could have had this on the table or somewhere else. But I did already remove a layer of it. It's saying striving for excellence. And like I said, we only need 2 tablespoons, oh my goodness, shoot me, of onions. I didn't swear I'd never do this. Cook a recipe, I love the irony of it. It's like, I will never just use 2 tablespoons. Here I am. It's because I reduced the recipe. I believe it calls for a 1/4 cup, if I did my my math right on that. And that's why you see 5 tablespoons of butter. Because I believe, because I reduced it down from a 1/4 cup or a 1/3 cup, something like that. And throw the root away. Go ahead and give our knife a quick rinse. And then if I didn't explain why I got the separate cutting board though, it's because I don't want anything else to taste like onion. Go ahead and get that in our recycled container there. And that's about I said I'd measure it. There's one. Ah, it got me, the juices. Ah, I'm crying. Ah, help me, help me, help me. Okay, now that water, let's see. Oh, I was supposed to cover it. Cook all ingredients. Let's see. Huh, it wants me to add the butter too? Okay, I'll do it. So I have I want to use my butter bowl. I'm just going to toss all that in there. Get rid of that. And I'm going to go ahead, that's a good dice. That's a good dice there. Put these in the fridge. Poor, poor onions. Poor, poor onions. Alright, give the cutting board a little rinse. We'll go ahead and use this for wiping up and stuff now. Put over there. We'll start getting everything melted. And now I'm going to turn this a little bit like to 3.5, just because I'm about to add a lot of stuff, so I want the temperature to be consistent. And when I'm going to add it is when I see this butter completely melted. We're going to go ahead and make me skinny, and we'll review where we are on the recipe. So once that butter melts, we'll start a timer for 13 minutes. And then all we have to do is add 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar after 13 minutes. And we'll just make sure the water doesn't dissolve too much during that, and that we don't end up burning our onions. The butter's gonna be there. We're gonna want a little bit of butter, a little bit of water to help get the, what's the word I'm looking for? The caramelization. And then let's see, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I said I was going to measure it. A quarter teaspoon, okay. And one more time for a half. Silly reduced recipes. And the butter is melted. We'll go ahead and stir that up. Got our onions added already. And add all our carrots. Alright, get the lid put back onto our potatoes. Alright, so let's move this cutting board out of the way because I don't want to put dirty tomatoes on it. I'm going to help just like keep it a little bit clean, and we can start looking at these tomatoes. Okay, so how much do I need? I think I only need, we're moving on to the parsley, carrots, and potatoes. So just 1 cup. That might, 1 cup, this might be like 1 medium-sized potato. And then, okay, so this is what happens if you haven't seen it before. Seems slightly unsightly. So, what we're looking at is it started to root, got a little bit of sunlight. This is what your potatoes are going to start looking at closer to 2 weeks. One of the reasons you should use it by 1 week. And what I'm going to do here is that you definitely don't want to eat these roots. So you'll go ahead, you'll just go ahead and collect that off. So what you don't want to do with the potato that is rooted at this point is that you don't want to scrub the skin and then chop it up and put it straight into, and then you don't want to boil it. Like, you don't want to make mashed potatoes with this, with like the skins and how it's all nice and delicious. The best thing to do with this at this point is to fry it instead of boiling it. We are still going to be boiling ours instead, but the next step to remove what is poisonous with us, it starts with a G. It was a very long word and I couldn't quite remember it. Is we're going to peel the skin off, because the skin right up on here on the area is where the reaction, the chemical reaction. You know, these things have electricity in them. Anyway, we're going to peel it, and we're going to peel the skin off, and that will help get more of that stuff that's forming that's dangerous for us. And the side effects of eating a potato that's too old is diarrhea, nausea, sometimes confusion, and I think those were it. Those were the big ones. So you don't, if something is like super green, if this potato is instead of white, if it's like avocado green, it's also gone too far again. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to grab, so ones that I would avoid at this point, again, so you see how this one has a defect here. It's gotten soft here, and you'd have to remove the sprout that's going on here, and you would really want to, after you've cleared the skin, it's almost not worth, you know, something this small. You can see it's smaller than my hand. You can go ahead and remove those from the game. We have quite a few smaller ones. This here hasn't gotten quite soft yet. It's just rooted, so this one you wouldn't have to cut so far through. Anywho, just try to keep your potatoes out of the sun and use them within a week. So don't stockpile them. Just buy potatoes as you need them. So I have a second potato, a small one, washed just in case I didn't guess the right 1 cup for these potatoes. We'll go ahead and give them a nice little scrub with a brush real quick and be back on our way. And then we're going to go ahead and set a timer for 10 minutes because I forgot to set one for 13. And we'll give that a stir in a minute. So we're giving our potatoes a nice scrub just so we don't have, because we're handling them, even though we're cutting the skin off, we're still handling the potatoes, so it's nice to just get the dirt off. You know, these potatoes probably seen a lot. Some Idaho potatoes. Alright. Hopefully that wasn't too boring. And then I'm going to go ahead and still just slice into the bowl here because it's on the counters. It just gets a little too starchy. And what I mean by too starchy is just the potato skins, or you can just have it in the trash can. But the potato skins get starch onto your countertops, and it's just a little bit more of a pain than a simple wipe to clean up. So I got one all sliced up. And you can see it was rooted a little bit, but it's still a totally white, no green. You'll start seeing green form when it's really starting to sprout and go. These ones, in my opinion, you caught in time, you're still able to use them. I would feel fine boiling them. If you're worried about them, again, you can you can fry them if they've sprouted, and that will help kill the poisonous. Bonus points if anyone can bring up the name of the chemical that's poisonous in potatoes. We'll get a gold star from teacher, because teacher don't know what it's called. Alright, other potato. Transfer those to the garbage. We got the full camera going out, so we're going to give this a little bit of stir here. Keep the goodness in. What a lovely smell we have going on here. I wouldn't, this is one of those recipes where the onion is a delicate balance. It's only 2 tablespoons. Should add a nice, savory, sweet flavor to this. And I could have, if I used a full saute pan, this would be easier to stir. Or if I just halved the recipe instead of, wait, no, I'm doing the full 6. I think this makes 6. I'm going to have to look up that recipe. Nope, it called for 1.5 pounds. I third the recipe, that's right. And I see a little carrot top that I missed. Oop, almost burned my fingers. It wants to be in there, okay. Whoop, there goes the towel. Put that over there. Have a new one on standby already. It's almost good news for me. I've been waiting to have a full laundry load to get that stuff done. Alright, and I've fussed with that enough. I'm going to go ahead. I want to turn the heat up just a little bit more. It's at a 3.5 right now. Yeah, makes you sick. I was reading about it because I wanted to be sure, because I knew my potatoes were sprouted, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't being far-fetched and too much of a vegetarian, being like, I could eat that, because I know the rest of the world, I would hate to hear someone getting sick over some bad advice because I didn't know better. Let's see. And it's kind of like what I got out of it is like if they're green, yeah, you can start getting sick, and it's just a judgment call. And then frying them is better. Okay, how do I want to do this? I should have cut in half first and then done the thirds. That would have helped keep its form. So like this, in half. Oop. And then into thirds. There we go. Hey, Ash Artful, how's work? Never mind, let's not talk about work. Let's talk about... Ooh, I thought I had a hard name to say. Let's see, Mr. Rocknox. That's my best shot at it. Hello. I gotta get another. Let's see, let me get the little recipe up here. Knox, you got it. I can remember that. And spiced carrots. Oh, let's make me real skinny here real quick. Oh, we need to get the 2 more tablespoons of butter out. Go ahead and grab that. Ooh, look at that. I have some ham right here. And the carrots are at a nice simmer right there. I'm going to go ahead and leave it at that. I'm not sure how much this was supposed to be reduced, but I like that there's still enough liquid in here in the spiced carrots with the cinnamon, and we'll add the brown sugar. I'll make sure I can actually get it all stirred up in there. Yeah, I'm trying to cook with the seasons here so we got the potatoes and the carrots and stuff that just, will be available in the winter time. Let's see, I need to get that parsley ready too. Oh, and I forgot to dice the other cup of carrots. How silly of me. When I was cutting all those carrots, forgot to get the other stuff going. I'll go ahead and give it a quick minute. Let's see. I'm going to guess that I'm going to guess that half a pound of carrots is going to lead to my 1 cup. We'll see. The parsley will be the last thing that we'll cut. And this is a little bit. I'm going to give this 1 more stir here. We're 2 minutes away from adding the brown sugar. So this will be the last, me really trying to get it stirred around, making sure it's evenly cooked. It's just about 6:45 Mountain Time. Thank you all for joining the show. I'm going to go ahead, and that will help. I put the butter right there. That will help it warm up a little bit. Just make sure it doesn't melt on your stovetop. Let's see. Diced carrots it is. Let's see. if you were wondering if there was a way to take away the sweetness of carrots with spices, yeah, there is. It's a spice that I would recommend trying. Is so the carrots would taste a lot like, or I guess would be more equivalent to like celery in this case. And what you do is you can grate your carrots, and like if you're putting in a potato soup, you can go ahead and grate your carrots, and you can add some cumin into it. That would be a really easy spice to add, and then it'll take soft. I think it would cut the bite of the sugar out. So I'm just splitting these carrots in half. First, there's 13 minutes. Let's see. We needed 1.5 tablespoons of brown sugar. I packed that down in the bag a bit. I'm just going to eyeball the other half. If I do a little too much, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Give that another rinse off, and we can keep on saying clean as you go, sign of a pro. We're all done with this brown sugar here, so we'll go ahead and fold that up, get her back out of the way. We're going to go ahead and stir in that brown sugar, and it dissolved really quick. I'm going to go ahead and let this keep on bubbling. So this recipe might not quite be for you, not because we still added the brown sugar. We are adding a little bit of the sweetness, but first time trying this recipe, let me give you, after I stir it up, I'll give it a quick taste and let you know what direction it ended up heading in. See if we can find something that you like there. And I'm just giving it a nice stir to really incorporate that brown sugar. And the temperature will come back up with the lid on. I'll just keep a timer for 2 minutes just so I can remember what I'm doing. Getting diced carrots here. This is where the baby carrots bit me in the butt, because it would be nice just to have one long carrot. But baby carrots are nice to have. You get a nice, quick, easy dice. They're a little softer. You don't have to skin them. Alright, let's bring back up that gingered carrot recipe real quick. Okay, so we still need to get the parsley. Medium-high heat. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting this burner as I'm cutting my carrots here, just to save myself a little time. Okay, so I believe I thought I worded this right when I transferred it. It says, in a large saucepan over medium-high heat and 3/4 cups of boiling water, heat carrots and potatoes to boiling. And then heat and then reduce to a simmer. I'm just going to make sure, yep, that will totally work. So I'll just be able to go from one lid to the other here, which is perfect. Go ahead and get my 3/4 cups of water. That's been another 2 minutes. for cooking my carrots, I'm going to go ahead and give them a taste, see what direction that we're going. So I'm going to use a fork. Now you gotta be. Now I'm going to be really careful here because I'm going to tell you again. This is ceramic, and when I'm doing, your mother will slap you. So when I'm doing this, I'm not actually even touching the ceramic. I'm just picking up a carrot. Just getting the carrot. I didn't touch the ceramic. Don't hate me for using metal on ceramic. It's a flavor that I did not expect. The onion. So we use cinnamon and onion in this recipe, and the onion definitely would help cut out the sweetness of the carrot. I'm so surprised it tastes like this, even though with brown sugar. Well, I can't say that it's sweet. It's like it's a nice balance of savory and sweet. The sweetness doesn't overpower it, but it still does have the aftertaste of carrot when it does all go down, but possibly more mellow. Maybe give it a try. Put that fork over there. I'm going to go ahead and turn the temperature down to a 1 here. I have this. I want 3/4 cup of water. Ooh, let's see what we like to do with carrots here. 3/4 cup. Okay, let's see. I like quick pickling them. That only works if a sour, spicy garlic flavor. Ooh. Alright, and again, I'm going to push these carrots up, pickling them. Quick pickling. I haven't quick pickled anything before. That sounds fun. I have some pickle juice too. I have all these pickles. Oh, I wonder if I have all these pickles. I don't know if I have all these pickles. Well, we'll see. The pantry is kind of up for debate. Now you see how I have my elbow over the stove? Just gotta be cautious of that because it can get really warm right here really quick. I'm trying to be done before that though. And I already turned the temperature down on my carrots. And I was asking for a diced carrot. So I could have probably taken these baby carrots and have them again, but I'm being lazy. I think they're baby carrots. I think that they're small enough for... I've kind of been referencing my style of cooking to see where I land, and with how I just like to cook when I'm not going off of a recipe. From what I have looked into, I have more of like a traditional Japanese style of cooking. I've heard that they kind of focus more on the raw vegetable, presenting those attributes. And then French cuisine is more about refining with different ingredients to bring out the best in the dish. And I'm still getting better at the refining, but quickly gaining an ability by just trying out a few recipes out of a cookbook. And that water is getting very close to a boil. I need to go ahead and turn it up more to like a 6 now though. So it's out of 4, it's getting nice and even. So what I did there too, where I had it out of 4 and I was warming it up, I wasn't really worried about how quickly it was because I knew it was at a slower pace out of 4. The 6 is where I know it's going to start boiling at. But now my attention is actually back on to what I'm doing. I don't have to worry about the knife here anymore. And then I have these down just under a 1 at 0.5 here. And the carrots will only get softer, so I don't mind cooking them in this liquid. They'll only hopefully suck up more of these juices. Okay, so, and then also note about when I have this water here, if I had my handle out here, like you might think it's nice and uniform, that gives me a chance. Oh, let me bring up the full camera here. That gives me a chance to really bump into it. And then look at this hot water. That's how you're going to burn yourself. You're not going to burn yourself hitting there. You're going to burn by getting some hot liquid. So we have the water coming to a boil. Did we need to add any salt to this recipe? Something to know. Oh, this is the spiced carrots recipe. There we go. Oh, I haven't gotten the parsley yet. Okay, no, it wants the salt after the fact. So the water is boiling. So careful not to splash yourself right here, otherwise the boiling water will come up. Nice thing to do is that you can kind of make a pile for yourself here. Once you have like a little island, you're just adding dirt to it. And then you can come in with your spoon. Could have done a little bit better job on that potato there. Just kind of help break it up with my hands, otherwise I'm going to have to, oof, that actually needs more of a chop. Wow, found another big one. I thought I looked pretty fancy doing that too, turns out not so much on those cuts there. Okay. There's the rest of that. I'm going to go ahead and use the same towel I did before on this cutting board. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to turn my cutting board over, and I'm going to pick out some parsley here real quick. This came out of the garden, and I'm going to go ahead again, take it all out of the bag, and I'm going to quickly sort through it. This is what, it's nice having some counter space here. I'm going to go ahead, I would prefer to be able to compost, however I just haven't been. That on top. Let's make sure I'm not supposed to have these covers. Nope, I'm only supposed to cover it after it comes to a boil. So I'm going to go ahead and put it up to a 7 here, get this all mixed in. And my butter is still softening there. See, I might 3/4 cup of water. It might need just the littlest bit more water, but I'll try to make sure the water is submerged. Okay. So now for parsley here, if I were using, this is a little bit, you wouldn't want to use this right here. You can go ahead and pick that out. This right here. You wouldn't want to use this for garnish. See you later, Ash Artful. Thank you so much for dropping by. So for this parsley right here, I wouldn't use it for a garnish. If I were adding it to a soup, it would still be, this is just passing. Like, you wouldn't want it more yellow than this. This is pretty yellow, this is pretty far gone. I'm going to go ahead and pull it aside. It's actually hit the point where I'll go ahead and I'll pass on it. And this will help preserve the rest of the fresh stuff I have. Though I'm only going to have a little bit left anyway. Okay, so it's at a boil. I'm going to go ahead and cover it, reduce heat, and simmer 10 minutes or until fork tender. green stuff here, one at a time. And then the stuff that's right in the middle is the stuff that I'll just use today. So if there's stuff I'm like, I don't want to save that because it'll just go. So super green stuff over here, anything that has a little bit of yellow, make sure to use it in the recipe today. And then like this, I'm going to go ahead and use today even though, oh shoot. It'd help if you be able to see it. So super green over here, the in-betweens here, that have a little bit more of the yellowings and stuff, so you can see. That's about what I'm using today. That won't save too well, so go ahead and use it now. And then this right here, oh, there's a little bit of a green piece. Gotta get that out of there. And this right here is the unsightly stuff that I will not use. Okay, so I gotta go ahead and pluck it real quick. And this stuff came straight out of my garden. I've already washed it before, but if you need to give your little vegetables a rinse, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do this here. And now the camera moves back down again. And then so I was able to buy myself time on the prep here. I'm going to go ahead and set a kitchen timer for another 10 minutes. Because these are simmering for how long? For about 10 minutes, or until fork tender. So just like the carrots. And these carrots over here are done. They're just on low heat here. Just remember that if you have it on the stove top for a while, like if you're letting it sit, and then also my butter is starting to melt on the bottom, I'll go ahead and put that in my butter bowl there. Just remember that your handles are going to get hot. I'm going to go ahead, slide this trash can next to me. We'll go ahead and keep on flecking this away. And this right here, I always say with the parsley, this is if your kid wants to help in the kitchen and you're just really worried about them cutting their fingers, this is a super helpful step that the kids can do. Just make sure that they wash their hands. Those rascally kids picking up weird things, and yeah, everyone, wash your hands. Especially if you're 5 years old, please. And so this, I know it calls for, we were talking for 2 tablespoons of parsley. I'm using what I need to use today, if that makes sense. So it might be a little over 2 tablespoons, it might be a little under. I saved the super green parsley for another day. I'll have one more recipe for that. And I'm just going to take this and hopefully get close to 2 tablespoons. So go ahead and brush that there. And this is just to help keep my wooden cutting board clean. I found one more unsightly right there. And we'll go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and do this in 2 bunches here. That's what I'll do. I guess we'll just have this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is that you can be as particular as you want, but you try to kind of stack them one on top of each other. And it just calls for chops, so it's not like we have to go and mince this. It's just asking for it to be chopped. So I stacked it one on each other, and then I rolled it. I'll bunch it up with my fingers here, and I'll still like 1/8 inch passes through it, and I'll get a very nice thin chop on it. And then anything, if you got a big leaf here, just bunch it back up in your hands and run the blade through. And again, the same thing. You can bunch it. I'll show you just a little bit more of a messy way. I'm just going to grab it and bunch it. And just with it bunched, I'll do the same cut. So the steam is helping cooking this, so that's why I'm not taking the lid off of it. And then clean as you go, sign the pro. That cutting board's all set. So I've used this bag a couple times. This bag's actually quite old, so I'm not going to actually use the bag at all. I'm just going to keep my remaining parsley just out of the bag because I want to use it within the next day or two. Otherwise, it's just going to start turning just as quick as the rest of the stuff did. But I don't want to reuse that bag. Plastic bags are convenient, and I really like using them, but you shouldn't overuse them. Saran wrap is another personal favorite. Just wrapping things up. And we're going to go ahead and wipe down our counter here from all the greens. Actually, we'll give our little stove a little wipe too here. And cooking like this, see, I have a few minutes to go. This is how I had everything all taken care of before I even sit down for dinner. I know it seems like a lot, like it's just such hard work cooking in the kitchen, but you build up these habits and it'll be easy. I won't say that you won't still have to convince yourself to do it every once in a while, but now I can clean the dishes without even thinking about it. They're just boom, done. It's also nice that I have this handy dandy dishwasher. If you have a dishwasher, you should definitely use it. If you have a broken dishwasher, get a new one. Nice little snack. They are big water savers. They will pay for themselves in the water that you will save using a dishwasher. Plus, the temperature of the water in the dishwasher is higher than the heat that your hands can tolerate. We're talking 140 degrees Celsius. Washing my knife off on here. And let's bring up this recipe again real quick. Let's make me skinny. Alright. Dash of pepper and a teaspoon of salt. Oh, half a teaspoon. Here I go again. And the 1/4 teaspoon shenanigans. I'm just going to add this to my parsley cup because I'm adding the rest of this at the same time. Alright, and a dash of pepper. More minutes on the potatoes, and we're ready to rock and roll on everything. Let's go ahead and give these carrots come on, be nice. There we go. Again, this is like kind of a unique flavor with the carrots and the onions and the cinnamon. and the brown sugar. So really I got this out of the Good Housekeeping cookbook. I'm really liking the recipes I was finding. Like also in particular with this recipe here with the parsley, carrots, and potatoes, I really like it because so we used all those tomatoes. Oh shoot, I didn't measure to make sure that was 1 cup. Whoops, it looks like I accidentally eyeballed something. Whoops. I didn't mean to eyeball that. Nah, no. What I like about this potato recipe is it calls for 1 cup diced potato. It's a good, like, realistic use of your potatoes because you're using like 1 big potato or like 1 medium potato plus 1 small potato, or if the actual recipes was 2 diced cups, so you're using 2 large potatoes, or you're using say 6 small potatoes. So it's a good recipe that helps make, and that would make 6 servings for you. So it's just a good size recipe, like to help get rid of your potatoes. I hope that's not too nerdy. Anywho, and we just have to add a little our salt and our parsley here, and this will make 3 servings altogether. It only has 20 seconds, and I'll go ahead and I'll give it a stir. I'll fork it, and then after the stir, I'll fork it, give it a taste, see where we're at with it, if it's tender enough. While I'm waiting for that, go ahead and give these a nice stir, that way nothing's drying out. 7-Eleven Mountain Time. So, it only took, oh my goodness, I didn't add the raisins! Didn't add the raisins to the carrots. There's a level of flavor that I'm missing today. I don't want to add in the raisins now because I believe the raisins were supposed to cook into this, and I think it would take the flavor to the next level. But we won't worry about that. Go ahead, give this a stir here. Since Robert doesn't know how to read the recipe tonight, we're going to stare at this screen real quick. Drain, then stir in remaining ingredients. Drain, then stir in remaining ingredients. Got it. That's the skinny. Alright, let's do it. So give this a nice stir. Trying to break up a potato or two still. Put some water. Flattening it out to make it nice and even. Not worrying because this is a metal, not ceramic. Forked pretty easy. 2 blows. And yes, it is soft. Yes. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and drain it. One of these tools I've really ended up liking is actually this type of strainer here. It has a little grip. You can't quite see it because of how white it is. You can kind of see it peeking out. Those little tabs right here. And it just fits on the side right here. You can't go from incredibly high heat. But it's a great one to let it drain. And we'll just let all the water drain out. And then with cauldrons, with strainers and stuff, it's really helpful to just rinse it, help keep that starchiness. And it said to stir in the rest of our vegetables. Let's see. I haven't added this butter yet. I would have actually probably added that in first. And then for me, I go a little, for me, I tend to go a little heavier on the butter, just because I can use a little bit more fat in my life. For those of you that might be trying to gain weight, look for what the keywords that you're looking for is calorie dense foods. Butter is one of those. Cream cheese is another one. Now, I know there's a lot of different types of diets out there. I do recommend, like, it doesn't even have to be full vegetarian. Please have chicken once a week or twice a week. Have a burger, you know. But for me personally, going past vegetarian, going into vegan territory where I stopped using butters and things, cheeses is another high, it's another calorie dense food. Just started losing too much weight. It was just too much there. So I made sure to add the butter, add the cheeses back into my diet. We do have some delicious cheese alternatives available, and we're gonna, next time I do the enchiladas, it will be featuring the mimic cheese. And I can let you know right now, the secret to that is yeast flakes. So we're giving this a nice stir in remaining ingredients. I want to hear that butter sizzling a little bit. Cook the potatoes, not quite fried, just help sear in this parsley flavor. And we'll finish cleaning up and be ready to eat. Now, the prep time was a little much on this, but this is I'm gonna put the rest of this into some tins. I'm gonna eat really good at work tonight. Cheers to any of you coffee drinkers out there. I saw a funny skit make its way around the internet. And it was a guy doing impressions of what your coffee really says about you. And my favorite was the black coffee. And he comes out and he says, I like the impressions of each one. And he's holding the black coffee, and his impression of someone that drinks black coffee is, I like talking about working hard more than I actually work hard. I just thought that was so funny, because so on point. Never thought of it like that too. Here I am drinking some black coffee, talking about how I'm going to go slave away at work tonight. Just all hours of the night. And we're cleaning the kitchen. Put that there. Get our cutting board cleaned up. Do, 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 do. Get all the stuff rinsed off. Pretty straightforward show. And that's how you get rid of your extra carrots and potatoes. Not how you get rid of your onions, though. Not enough onions, in my opinion. Gosh, I totally didn't measure this out to be 1 cup potato anything. I just totally threw it in. I hope, whoops. That's why I made the promise that I would measure everything, is so I avoided doing stuff like that. And I'm like, and then there's food, and people are like, wait, how much? I'm like, oh, you thought this was a cooking channel? You thought I was going to show you? Oh yes, I am. I'm trying. It'll get funnier. I age like a fine cheese. I'm still stinky though. Comes with being a guy, you know. Happens. At least I don't have Scooties. Alright, let's put this all together. I want to have this right next to each other too. No separate plates for any. Nope, we're putting this all into one. Let's see how we did here. I'm curious. Everything in me is like, where's the garlic? I'm like, yeah, no, this is good. Pardon me, like, garlic. I'm like, no, there's other flavors in the world. Come on. I'm like, garlic. That butter right there, the flavor carrier for sure. All right, I think that's plop enough. Let's get into the pan. And then I'm trying not to get bring in the liquid here. I want the carrots more on the drier side. So I just picked it up with the lip there, put it right on over. Alright, go ahead and turn the heat off on there. And now the real question is if these two things go together. I made them because they both had carrots and I really needed to get rid of some carrots. And then I didn't have enough carrots. And then I didn't want to reduce the recipe to a third because apparently I don't like doing math. So here we are with me having a 1/4 pound of carrots left. No, 1/2 pound of carrots left. Yeah, when I try to get rid of all my carrots. 2 bags of potatoes. Oh well. Interesting. So, my favorite out of the two right here is going to be this spiced carrot recipe. Now this is really, this right here though, let's talk about what I like. The spiced carrots. Spiced carrots just have a wonderful flavor. It could improve too with the raisins. I'm sure it brings another depth of flavor. Parsley, carrots, and potatoes. Let me tell you what I like about this though. It's the color. Like, kids are probably going to love that. Like, they might not like the green parsley. And it's funny because that's like the best part for them in there. I was talking about how parsley is a superfood. So of course kids are going to want to avoid it. But it's colorful and it's basic vegetables, and I think this would be fun for kids. It looks appealing. And then we just have we had the orange that comes, and I like how this ends up being plated because it's nice and dotted color over here, and then you have just this totally different flavor profile as you come in over here, and it's just some carrots and potatoes. It's nice stocked in the kitchen. How I kind of what I did for making up this show tonight, I wasn't able to get it made by Wednesday actually because by the time I realized what day it was last night when I was falling asleep and I realized it's Friday. You have a show tonight. I was like, wait, is it Wednesday night or Thursday night? Graveyard's got me all confused. I'm like, it's Friday. Oh, okay. Well, we're gonna look through the recipe books. And I was like, I got carrots and I got potatoes. And yeah, we got it to work. We got it to work, folks. Very happy with both of these recipes. And there's I could totally just cut this recipe in half though. This might be, it's like, it's not sickeningly sweet though. Like if I did this all with the gingered carrots that we did before on the show, it'd just kind of be like too much of this sweet leftover mess. This though, like this could be added to another soup and still be delicious. Like it's not lost at all. Like if you wanted to add this to something else, you would totally have that spiced carrot flavor with the onion. It's just, it pairs really well. And also, you can easily add it to another soup because we didn't add the raisins into it this time. So that's good there. Yes, definitely use the correct measurements on the cinnamon. Really happy I used the more expensive cinnamon for this. I have cheap cinnamon and then more expensive cinnamon. The cheap stuff, if I were to make stuff like a French toast, I would just use this in large volume. And this I try to conserve a bit more. And then I don't try to. I only get the more expensive spices on things that, like when I'm really trying to taste them. Like chili powder, I'm okay with just getting cheap chili powder, not a big deal. But then if I'm looking for something specific like oregano, you go with the higher quality. And then the garlic, again, like we're talking about, try to go with the higher quality. A little silly though, you might see that garlic was organic. That's one of those ones where it's just like, organic garlic, yay, okay. It's garlic. Like, what's attacking garlic? Like, what out in nature, like goats, like things that are big, mess with garlic? Little insects and stuff don't mess with garlic. So to have it, I'm glad it's organic. But it's just like, again, it's just like bananas have an incredibly hard shell to them too. Avocados have an incredibly tough skin. There's nothing that's like eating that. So there's no need to worry about organic pesticides for those. They're nice. Like it's always good to not be using poisons when we can avoid them. But then there's like when you're looking at what's like what I do is like it's how processed the food is. The more concerned I am if it's organic or not, or just how it's like cheeses. I try to buy higher quality cheeses than less expensive cheeses just because of what cheese is. Like I want to try to put in a less stressed environment, try to support a better farm if I can. That's hard to do. They throw all this information at you. It's a hard world to navigate. We're just going to the store trying to figure stuff out. I'll just make little rules for you as you go along, just increasing the habits. This is a full-on vegetarian cooking show, but this is for everybody though. Everyone can cook these recipes and just throw a little meat into them. These potatoes would be great. Just cook some hamburger on the side if you really need it. It's no problem. The recipe will still taste delicious. And yeah, just wanted to show that it was a nice little fun meal here. Ooh, only 7:32. I guess I'll go ahead and get the rest of this put away, see if anyone has anything to say in the chats, and I guess I did label this social eating. So we will do a little bit of a social eating this time. I'm going to go ahead and take off my apron though. Those spiced carrots. I definitely recommend that recipe. It's warming me up too. Maybe that's the stove. I'm not sure. Is it getting light in here? And then I really like how the carrots, the parsley carrots, I definitely want to have this. This would microwave super easy. So that's another thing that I was wrong about. So I'm doing all this cooking, and I know I talked some smack about microwaves, But again, just like with the potatoes, I was like, I really need to know what I'm talking about. So I look into if microwaves take away nutrition or if what microwaves do, and so um, they're not as bad as I thought. They actually could preserve more nutrients in your food than boiling it in water or reheating it, because it does it quicker. If you when you cook things on that, you're making the chemical reaction on the stove. The longer the heat, the more the nutrients are going to burn away and evaporate into the air. So cooking it quickly in the microwave can help save. And what got me started on this is that I was listening to some professional chefs, and they were convinced about making mashed potatoes. They all use the microwave, and they were treating this using the microwave. So what I did notice when I heated some soup up. Oh no, wait, that's not true. That was on the stove. Yep. Never mind. I wasn't going to say nothing. Yeah, I definitely have. Sorry, there's a little bit left in my mouth there. I definitely have enough carrots. I could have this, add the raisins again. So, and yeah, totally taste test. That would be good. And then, but these chefs though with the mashed potatoes, they're using the microwave. And I was like, huh? And they're like, this is the way to go for mashed potatoes. And I was like, no way. I want to boil my potatoes. I want to mash them. And I guess I finally found something I was stubborn about, and I had to realize, I was like, huh, the microwaves actually are incredibly convenient. They'll save you electricity. Having the stove on costs money. Microwaves way cheaper, way more efficient. It's the most dangerous thing about the microwave is actually just uneven heating temperatures. And also, you don't want to stand right next to it. You want to stand at least 6 inches away from it. And that's just so you don't have a thermal change. It's not, so the microwaves, that there being a specific, there's a specific range for the microwaves, and it's just affecting the water, and it's causing friction in the water molecules, causing them to heat up. So it's the microwaves aren't strong enough to knock any of the molecules off of the atom, so there's not a chemical change, there's only a thermal change, is one way to say it. And we bring these all up because these carrots and potatoes, because they have water in them, they're perfect for reheating. They'll reheat incredibly even. Vegetables are, you can actually just you don't even have to cook it. Like, you can actually just take a bag of broccoli, and a lot of them are steamable microwave bags, and you can just throw it in them and cook. If you're really skeptical about having the plastic bags in the microwave, because that is when you start getting into actual wondering on health risks, is the stuff leaching into the plastic bags. But also, this stuff has been tested for a while. It has been around for a while, and the things that were dangerous came out. The cigarettes were the thing that was killing everybody. It didn't end up being the microwaves. And then just the last thing that I learned about that, I guess, the fear that I had about microwaves in the first place came over some failed kids' science project. So always check your resources, folks. Took me like 4 solid years of disbelief on the microwave before I could finally question some fallacy I had in my life. And that's just over the microwave. Imagine what else I don't know. Oh my goodness. How dumb am I? Who knows? Ah, you know what I'm excited about? I'm not competing with The Mandalorian on Friday nights anymore. Maybe I'm just competing with Friday night sports, but man oh man, was I disillusioned being like, wow, these people really love me. They're coming watching my stream because everyone I know has something to say about The Mandalorian. And now we wait. Let's see. I'm not sure what I'll do for next week. I do have some mint growing up over here. I just got it. It came in these little containers right here. And I was watering them for a couple days. They were on sale because they got a little cold, so they had some dead leaves on it. Just pruned them up a bit, got them repotted, and now I have this fun little plant. See how it grows. I'm gonna see how well it. The basil is one of those plants that loves being trimmed, and it'll grow more that way. So I'm interested to see this mint. It's also going to be a totally different mint than the banana mint plant I have. And I know I have that tomato basil bisque recipe still up. Man, that mint plant did not like that. Well, I gave it a really big haircut. I'm doing something the mint doesn't like. I think I'm not free watering it enough. I think it likes a little bit of water every day, that banana mint. We'll see about these mints right here. I'm actually not sure what type of mints those are, though. And the butters and so I know so I do try to give vegan examples for the dishes too. That way people can take the next step. For this carrots and parsley recipe, usually I'll always say to people, yeah, go ahead and use like about a tablespoon of oil compared to a tablespoon of butter. It's still basically fat. This is one of those recipes where it won't work as well when you use an oil alternative. And the reason why is kind of like, look how well this sticks together here on the plate. And that's because of the butter coating. When we cooked it there, like it keeps it so the parsley is actually on the food and it's not here on the bottom of your plate, just all falling off. If you use the oil, I don't believe it's going to be having the same stick-in power. A chocolate mint plant. Oh my goodness. That sounds so good. I wonder all the things about that. I have all the questions about the chocolate mint. I want it. I'm gonna grab myself a chair here real quick. We still have another 20 minutes. Just because I wrapped up the food a little bit early doesn't mean I don't want to hang out till 8. I do have the job to go to after work, but we still have the Friday streams, and we've been making it work so far. I just have to keep these streams a little bit more just on point, on target. Get the food cooked. Make sure I get the food cooked quickly. Whew. It feels nice to sit down though. That was a nice hour and a half just going for it. Oh. A little bit of coffee too. Oh, thank goodness. And yeah, I got it's just warming the soul too. This is a nice little meal to have. I really like the dynamics between the two carrots. Really helps you appreciate the different ingredients that went into the two of them. And this chocolate mint plant, though, I want to know what it tastes like in hot chocolate. I want to know what it tastes like in cake. I want to know what it smells like. I want to know what it looks like. I want to know if it's brown. Oh, is it a brown mint? Oh my goodness. You don't have to answer all those questions. I'm just being dumb. That's just how excited I am to know that a chocolate mint plant exists. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see, some improvements for the streams coming soon, like I talked about, is that I do on Wednesdays is when I want to send down an email with the recipe that I'll be cooking. That way, if anyone wants to follow along, I do it at a slow enough pace that even if you have a busy life, you should be able to come in and cook with it. That even if you're going a lot slower, like if it takes you a long time to cut the vegetables, there's will still be time in this type of stream to be able to catch up. And I do try to keep all the steps with the prep, with the washings, and just cleaning as I go. That's what the emphasis. I can put the camera over there and I can show you a clean sink. Ooh. Oh, I love mint tea. I was loving that fresh mint tea I was getting off of the banana mint. It's really good for our digestion. I don't own a tea sphere, metal tea strainer yet, so I've been using my French press to strain out the leaves, and it made a wonderful tea, and it really does help with that digestion. Let's see. Raw, it smells like Andes mint. A light purple underside. That's so cool. To the leaves, more smell of chocolate. A smell of chocolate. Oh my goodness. Ah, a smell. It's the smell of chocolate. It has the essence of chocolate in it, and it looks beautiful too from the sounds of it. Oh, I bet it would make a great tea. I'm excited with the garden. So I am going to be getting in the flower bed here in January, probably near closer to the end of January. Usually that will happen on a Sunday with a surprise stream, and I just have the camera down on the garden bed so people see how I compost like my old garden material back in the soil. I try to not like just pull all the nutrients out of the soil. I try to give back to it, keep on building the soil I had. But I'm really excited to, I have a bit more space. It's going really good at the house. So I want to start growing more microgreens. And the couple of the kitchen gadgets that I have on the list is the next one's going to be a mixer. Yep, it's been a long time coming. I'm going to finally take that step to get a mixer. And then a dehumidifier is another one that I want to get. And a dehumidifier is going to be great for making personalized teas and stuff. That definitely would be fun. I don't make this a bragging thing, but I've really managed to cut out excess sugar in my diet. I'll still have a can of soda, you know, like if in between, like it's not quite coffee time anymore, it's not quite tea time yet, and I'm at work and it's there. I go for the soda, but I try to actually stay under the recommended requirements for it. Where was I going with that? I don't know. Why did I bring that up? Ah! Anyway, I I just know that sugar is super addicting because I have a can of soda, and then the next day I want another can of soda for sure. I can't, man, I totally lost my train of thought though. I had a point. I'm bringing up the sugar thing. Ah, kale chips, kale chips. Ash Artful really likes the kale chips. That's one of her favorite things to make actually. I have yet to make them. I had so much kale though. I had a bouquet of kale. I really wish I made some. Oh, kale. Kale in the. That's what I was Maybe that's what I was getting into. No, I was talking about the garden. And the kale is going to be one of those early things I want to start. Kale, spinach, garlic. I think we were talking about garlics, starting out garlics. I think that's what you were saying that you got started there, Schmookums. The microgreens and the teas. Oh, okay, so I did finish that train of thought. Huh, I really wonder what the sugar thought was all about. Huh. I did. I know that I was talking about stream updates too. About on Wednesdays, I want to send out the ingredients list on an email and be ready to cook it on Friday. Of course, I didn't have my stuff together. I was able to get the slides put together, and I did write the slides correctly this time, so gold star for me. But I want to try to give a little early heads up on what I'm cooking, and maybe I could actually look professional just a little bit. Let's see. The only thing so far in the ground is the garlic. Okay, good. I'm not entirely dumb about the dehumidifiers for tea. Yes, I know that I wanted to make the teas Oh! See, that's how my brain jumps sometimes. I totally remember now. I've been trying not to drink the sodas. I used to drink these peace teas. They're kind of like an Arizona tea, or they're just like a tall boy can of tea, usually lots of sugar and whatnot. I've been cutting out that purchase just because it's convenient, because of one less trip to make out in these days. And so I've been getting this big craving for green tea. You know how sometimes tea goes, like you have a tea you don't really like, and next thing you know you have 80 bags of it. Well, I was in that situation with all this green tea and stuff, and it wasn't my favorite and stuff. And I bring up the sugar stuff, because once you actually can cut the sugar out of your diet, you start appreciating flavor again. It makes sense, because sugar is like the best tasting thing ever. So why would anything else compare to it? It wouldn't. And so I am down to just some pumpkin spice and some iced teas. Like I actually have to go tea shopping here soon. I'm gonna try to. I think if hibiscus was one of those flavors that you brought up before tea schmookums, that I was like, I really couldn't name it if it hit me in the face. So hibiscus is definitely on my list of teas that I want to try. And I really am excited in growing some more microgreens. Maybe that'll lead to some nice tea concoctions. That project, making the teas, that's further out, because first I have to be successful at actually growing other microgreens, and then after that I have to dehumidify them. The dehumidifying part is probably going to be a lot easier than keeping something alive. I'm really excited to come back into the spring and the summer months and have more gardens. It's just been purely the cooking show. Haven't been able to go much on the garden stuff, but we're in the middle of winter. What can I do? And then that's also to explain the recipes. Early on, when Knox was asking about the recipes, I was saying I was trying to cook with the seasons, with the potatoes and the carrots, as opposed to things that are not in season right now, like tomatoes, um, peppers, I believe is on that list too. So I leave those more for summertime crops. Let's see. I have no idea what to cook for next week's show though. I'm always at a total loss. Eventually, there will be an egg show because even though we start the show at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, it's still my morning, and one of these days I will be craving an omelet. So there will be an omelet day, and then I will ruin all that industry's secrets, and you will be a true connoisseur of diner breakfast flair. Oh yeah, drying all the foods. So I'm gonna be a little bit of a weeb right now and say that I watched the show called Food Wars, and I loved it so much. And there's this one character, and she's from a hometown next to a harbor, and she's just the sweetest, like, caring person. And her theme is preservation of food, of drying in stuff, and that you can actually cook recipes that have been enhanced with with the yeah, you seen the show, fantastic. It took me some warming up. Like I was not used to so many anime babes. I was like, but then like it has to be that crazy though. I was like, wow, this show works because it stays interesting because it's just zany enough, and they always took it just like a little to the next to where it just ended so well. I didn't want to mention that I watched it, not because I'm embarrassed, but it's because I didn't want to get spoiled on it. Like I was really interested to see where the story goes. Oh yeah, the food always looks so delicious. That's something I've always appreciated about the animes. It's not only an anime thing, but the animes that stood out to me definitely had an emphasis on food, and they were in the animation. They were just taking the steps, preparing the food, or just the part of the process. Always really loved that. I think Ash Artful actually sent me something recently, and it actually gave me a good idea for the soundtrack to use for the backgrounds of videos like this. Is actually more of that folkish flute playing would probably be a really uh, some nice streaming music to put on. Definitely would help keep the jolly vibes going up. I feel like what's his name from Lord of the Rings, Rababaskin. I know I'm butchering his name, but he's the brown wizard. He's like, there ain't I can't even remember the name of the rabbits, but I love that line that he makes. Like, these are something rabbits. I can't even do it. These are jackalope rabbits, or whatever he says. Yeah, and they have the flavor bombs. That's something that you can't catch actually in real life. Is like the aroma floating through the air. Let's see. We watch Naruto with homemade ramen to eat every week. Oh, good anime company, fantastic. Oh man. So I went down the bleach. Well, let's be honest. I'm gonna like kind of
flex a little bit. I was like, I was on the Shaman King. But I went the Bleach direction is what I ended up. I went Shaman King, but the Bleach direction instead of the Naruto, the Naruto direction. So I never I kind of had the gist of Naruto. I'd seen through I guess it'd be like in the middle of the what's his name, snakehead guy. So, not Sesshomaru. That's Inuyasha. It is. I don't know the main villain's name. But now Boruto is out, is where I'm trying to get with this. And I was like, wait, let me just start with Boruto. And let me just enjoy some culture with everyone together. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love how that ended up being the blowing off of the clothes or the tearing of the clothes. That ended up being a superpower. Yeah. That was that was a really clever way to be like, oh yeah, obviously this food tastes better. Like, oh, because yeah, when you get to that part of the show. I stopped reading Bleach around chapter 630 though, because this is not necessarily a spoiler. I was just like, this is why people got so hurt by Games of Thrones, because they grew up on an anime Bleach where none of the characters die. I don't know if someone actually dies, but I swear it's every other chapter it's I'm back, baby. I'm just like, whoa. 600 chapters later, it's all right. No wonder Soul Society is thousands of years old. Thank you. Let's see. Him and his burgers. The handheld games too. Ooh. Oh yeah, that was the food that his mom made. I won't read off the whole thing just in case anyone wants to watch it. But yeah, that who his mother was definitely a nice part of the story. I really liked. That was a really touching family dynamic. You know, it was really good to see. And to go back on the Mandalorian too, that's what hooked me at the season one, because I was on the fence. I'm like, okay, it's Star Wars, yeah, it's cool as lasers and stuff. But then I was oh man, they just the end of season one. I'm like, oh man, they just made being a dad cool again. I'm like, it's always been cool. I'm like, but now it's super cool. And I was like, well done, father values type of deal. I really like that too. Just how people carry themselves too. Also, what I really liked in Food Wars is just because people had conflict between each other, people still got along. In the show, they overcame their original misunderstandings between one another. And I think that's how people really should, get along with one another. We don't have to be. We each have our own unique characters. Some of those could be just total jerks, but there's usually always shown in that show as redeeming qualities. It's been really fun chatting. I'm super happy I had some company with the anime talk. That's super exciting. Amy and Bobby, I didn't see them for the rest of the show, but they're also some anime buffs. So we're all it's a good crowd. I like the crowd that's starting to form on the stream here. We're going to keep on doing this stream every Friday night. It's a vegetarian cooking stream. I step into the kitchen just to show people that you can make something delicious. Just follow the recipe real quick. the little extra steps that you take. I like to show people that, guy or girl, can make something delicious. The more people you have in the kitchen, the quicker you can get something made. Both parties can help. Both parties have something that they can be helpful at. One cutting, one working the vegetables. And and I try to be conscious of people in apartment lifestyles. I try to not. I try to cook like I'm using more of a small space, and we go over organic vegetables and or when to go organic on your purchases, what foods to look for, how long they get stored for, etc. Well, and I work a full-time schedule at another job. This is my hobby here. Just want to really show people that they can make nice, nutritious food at home. Oh yeah. Oh man, the whisking. That's how you get buff. That's where you can start having the gun show. But if you have an immersion blender, we can throw on a whisk attachment. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing next time. Ooh, there's a tip for that though. With the whisking of the egg whites to get them stiff, if you just take a dash of sugar and add it in, it'll thicken quicker. So yeah, always trying to improve my craft. That way I can give you guys the best cooking advice possible. And I believe this is episode 17 now. We've been doing this since mid-September. And I'm still looking forward to adding another day on the show. Um, right there's been some changes have been keep on going on, and I've been practicing consistency, just being able to get the 1 day show. But we are going to be dual streaming soon. So the goals for the show is not to become affiliated on Twitch, but just to gather a larger audience off of YouTube and Twitch. I'll still always be streaming live from Twitch, so don't worry, I'm not going anywhere like that. Just trying to. There's a lot of viewers there on YouTube, but I really do like Twitch does feel like the people that go around in the network are more personable. So I'm worried that I might not be professional enough for the YouTubes, but we'll see. You know, but I won't be able to dual stream if I get myself affiliated. I found out that affiliate's license makes me sell or give them the right to my percentage of who I am. So probably not going to do that. This is a pretty bad contract to sign. So we're just going to have casual cooking show. But hey, there's no advertisements when you're not unaffiliated. So clean cooking stream that we got going on. And we just hit 8 o'clock Mountain Time. I'm going to scarf down this food off camera. It was delicious. It's hitting the spot and was warming me up. But actually, it was the stove. It was the stove top though. I want everyone to have a great night. Thank you so much for putting your energy into people coming out, hanging out, making the stream great, getting the community going. Really like talking to you all. It's really great cooking with you guys, and I really hope that people pick up a recipe book and start cooking some meals from home, and build up those good habits that make a clean kitchen environment, and it'll go really well for you. You can only get better. I have never heard of anyone that cooks more than once and gets worse. Usually you can improve. It's really fun, and it's really handy if you ever need, and especially in these times when we have to lift ourselves up, when we have to have good resolve and good spirit and good hospitality, like food is definitely a very close to universal language. It does involve math, so we're definitely putting it on that universal language. So everyone, you have a great Friday night. Everyone be safe. I'm going to be logging off for now. I'm going to gotta get my butt to work. So until next time, everybody, we'll see you next Friday. And there we go.